Ken Gagne with YouTube channel GameBits, here to play Spirits of Spring, formerly known as Silent Enemy, an iOS game from Minority, the creators of Papo Yo for the PlayStation 3. That was a game about dealing with an alcoholic, abusive father. This game is a metaphor for bullying, and we're about to see how and why. I've been playing this game for a little bit, so let's go ahead and click Continue and skip the tutorial that shows you how the game is played, because I'll be showing that to you as a matter of this Let's Play / developer interview. I'll be speaking with a gentleman from Minority later on this episode. So this game is set in far northern Canada, and you play primarily as this human character, not the rabbit or the bear, although you do sometimes occasionally play as them. And there go some crows who are threatening Chilwatin's spring. They are the enemies of the spring. I have not yet actually seen the crows, but they are stealing the trees that keep us in springtime, and without the trees we'll be in an eternal winter. So I basically poke my finger anywhere on the screen that I want my character to run, and he goes there. And then if I want, I can tap right on him and draw across the screen, and my spirit tail, in this case, will create a bridge. Here come the crows.
But never imagined the monsters flying above were strong enough to kill them.
Can't go that way. Also seems like I tripped earlier. There is some voice acting, as you noticed. Some narration from this game.
One, every spirit tree was being destroyed.
Oh, why did he fall down again? I haven't had that happen before.
Permanent winter. The thing everyone feared the most was happening in front of Chilwatin's eyes. Chilwatin had never felt such a cold and heartless wind. In a matter of seconds, springtime was gone.
Oh, there he goes again. Maybe I'm just getting my finger too far away from him, making him try to run too fast. Okay, so that's a sort of dark, depressing entrance to the game. Setting some high stakes for you to save the season. And there's a checkpoint. Alright, so let's see what happens next. Let's see if I can... Oh, bear. Chilwatin! Oh dear. Okay, I better get over there. Let's draw a bridge, run across, and see if I can save my bear friend. Although, what can I do? I'm just a human.
The three friends were scrambling for their lives, desperate to save themselves from these crows. Where could they go? Where would they be safe?
Looks like the rabbit ran down his hole. And can I go this way? Yes. Looks like we have a couple of different paths we can choose from at this point. Although they probably all just circle around back to the same point. Yep. Oh, don't want to go that way. Can't fall off and die if you try to, whoops. Okay, so my rabbit friend popped out of his hole on the other side over there. Whoop. Don't accidentally tap on Chilwatin, or also just try to use his spirit tail. There we go. So the game is recommended to be played with headphones on so that you can enjoy the soundtrack, and that's what I'm doing. Pretty atmospheric, I like it. And let's see, draw that, run across, whoops. There we go. You don't have to worry about the bridge disappearing while you're crossing it. You're not going to fall in the water. There's another rabbit hole I just passed. And there are some crow feathers, so that suggests that the crows have been here. But oh, and there's my rabbit friend. I'm running alongside him. Can we reunite at some point, please? I actually really, really like rabbits in real life. Oh, there he is. Whoa, crow. Oh man, if this is anything like Watership Down, then he... Oh no! Oh no! This is like Watership Down. This does not bode well for Rabbit. Does he have a long life ahead of him? That might be up to me. Okay, another checkpoint. I would like to actually encounter the crows and see what sort of bullying tactics this game employs. What happened to Rabbit? They got him. We have to find him. Okay, I'm not going too far ahead without you. Okay. So oh, he fell down again. Maybe that makes him a more empathetic character, more relatable. Can I think sometimes you can take control of the other animals. But usually only when necessary, which doesn't seem to be the case right now. Whoa, how do I get... Oh, here we go. I don't go through the forest, I make a bridge, and I run across it. There we go. Oh, even the bear falls down sometimes. Oh, come on! Kick him while he's down? Oh, no way! Oh, jump down. Ah, keep getting stuck on the corners. Crap, where'd he go? Oh, come on! I'm losing all my friends to the bullies? That quickly? Oh man, they really dragged him.
Freezing and alone, Chewatton had to find a way to get his friends back and to restore springtime.
Wow. This game got really dark really fast. I kind of liked the idea that there were three of us, friends, compadres, amigos, against the world, and now you're alone. Although if this was really like my childhood, the people who you thought were your friends would probably turn into bullies. But Bear and Rabbit are still on my side. That hasn't changed. I just need to find them. And my spirit tail got smaller. Lemming. I don't need anything from you. Stay away from me! Fox, you don't know what you're missing. What's going on here? This seems kind of fun, which is a dramatic change from the previous scene. Oh, does he have his own spirit tail? These foxes, such a pain. Wait, you must be the guy who's looking for some crazy rabbit, right? Word proceeds. Yes, and a bear. I don't know anything about a bear, but the rabbit... His tracks are over there. Okay. The tracks are appearing as we speak. We lemmings can always help with an escape route. What just happened? Did you just make the trees disappear? How did you do that, lemming? Weird. Oh, got a short tail now.
Chewatton was alone. No rabbit being scared. No bear being silly. Permanent winter was so cold. But even colder without his friends.
Oh, what do I do here? I think I need Bear to push that tree over. I don't think I can push it over. So let's backtrack and see if I'm missing something. If I can get up to that point, I'll have a bigger spirit tail. Oh, I can't seem to jump down there. There's a tree in the way. So I guess I do need to go this way. Oh, there's a rabbit hole here. I can't make a big enough bridge to get across the water just yet. So how do I do this? You tap the tree. There we go. I kind of thought so, because there was an earlier level where Rabbit pushed over the tree. I'm like, if Rabbit can do it, then human can do. Alright, so maybe I don't need a glowy part to tell me I can do this. Yep, there we go. Okay, so I think you've got an idea for how the mechanics work. I think this is a good time to bring on the developer. I'll continue playing this game as I speak with him, and you'll see more of the bullying tactics, I hope, as the game progresses. Joining me today to speak about Spirits of Spring for iOS is Mr. Ruben Farrus, creative director on this game for Minority Media, all the way from Montreal, Quebec. Hello, Ruben.
Hey Ken, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. And how are you?
Good. Excited to be here.
I know, this game has been a long time in coming. It was first announced about a year and a half ago.
Yes, it's been long, but it's been worth it.
Yeah, how's it feel to finally get your game out into the world?
I'm actually very happy because we finished a couple months ago, and I was sort of in a emotional limbo. The game was done, but I wanted to see it out there, and now I'm very happy that it's out there, and I can start reading like what people think and so on. It's a lot of fun.
This game is being advertised as a anti-bullying game, or a game to help young children cope and deal with bullying. So who would you say is your target audience as far as age or demographics?
For me, yeah, clearly, like I want this game to be played by kids that maybe they don't necessarily are in the middle of, like, you know, they're not teenagers that in the middle of the worst part of that age where like bullying can be pretty bad for some people, but also like for kids that sort of like start feeling that something is changing, you know when you go into like those years. I don't know, I think you start feeling like all the kids, they act in a different way, sometimes like they're doing like mean remarks, and sort of like for them to get a sense of what the situation is going to be. Also, I think it's a very interesting game for parents that have kids that are going through that sort of situations. I think it acts a bit like a common ground for both parents and kids to talk about the problem, you know?
I think that's a great point, because people might ask, or they might see this as a game for kids and think it's not for them, but I know that when I was being bullied, probably around 12 years of age, my parents had no comprehension of what I was going through.
Same here.
Yeah.
I never talked with my parents about it, and when you put something there that acts as a common ground, I think can be a good way to start a healthy conversation.
Exactly. It gives them something in common that they can share and talk about.
Yes.
It starts the discussion.
Yeah, it's very important that happens. It's still to this day some sort of a taboo. The fact that you're being bullied is a painful experience, and like as kids we don't want to talk about it. This is somehow shameful. And so if this can help a bit to sort of like start a conversation, then it'll be good.
Yeah, it seems like bullying is more in the public light nowadays. It's something that schools and administrations and parents are more willing to talk about, but you're right that it's still very challenging for a child to admit that, they are being subjected to this.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's a feeling of it's a bit of feeling of shame that you have, or that I felt when that happened to me. And yeah, I don't know, like on the other hand, what I also wanted to do is a game that it's about bullying. It's about what's to be bullied and what's the phenomenon, all the like points of view. But I didn't want to make a game that like people that they don't know about this game, I want them to realize that it was about something deeper. I didn't want to make a game that was just about bullying. I wanted to make a game that's the story, and because you care about these characters and the story, I wanted to make a beautiful game with a beautiful universe, with characters that you care about. And through that, when you started caring about these things, then be able to start talking about what's to be bullied and what are the components of bullying, and like who are the actors, the victims, the bystanders, the bullies, and like that not everything is black or white, that it's a complex problem. But for me it was very important there was this beautiful universe, these beautiful characters that you care about in order to talk about that.
Right, because if the game was obviously about bullying with no metaphor, then it might be a little too heavy-handed for people who are already dealing with this every day at school or at home to then go play a game that's about it as well.
Exactly, you said it right. That's exactly what I wanted to say.
So you want this to be a game that has characters that people relate to, but it's set in far northern Canada, and I imagine there probably aren't a lot of gamers up there. So why that particular setting?
The setting in storytelling serves a clear function. Stories and games, what they do is they take you very far away, so then they can talk about that's very close to you. Because the function of the setting is like to sort of like make you, for a second, make you forget about your life. You're in this magical adventure, and you're gonna encounter these challenges, but then if they talk about that something close to your heart, then you remember that your whole life. When we started to make this game, one of the partners of Minority, Ernest, he's a Cree Aboriginal from North Quebec, like 10 hours north of Montreal, and we were considering different themes, and I was like thinking what was the core of this game. And one of the things I was thinking about is like it was bullying. It's like this experience of being bullied and surviving that. And I started talking with everyone here in the office, and when I was talking about that, people would like really automatically react. They had been bullied too. Now they had kids that were worried about them. And when I went and see Ernest, the partner of Minority, I told him, I said, like, look, we want to make this game, and I'm thinking about, I had this story and so on, and he was so surprised, like he had gone through the same exactly thing, and him being from North Canada, like far North Canada, and me being from Spain originally. So, and then we realized that this was sort of a universal story that happens to everyone. But he came from this culture that is unique, and is like, it's almost mystical too. And I thought that was an excellent setting to like talk about a difficult problem. They have a lot of legends about animals, how they communicate with animals, how they relate to nature, and I found a lot of opportunities there to like create something magical and something almost like lost, and use it to like talk about something that's very close to everyone at the same time.
You mentioned how you both were able to empathize over this experience of bullying, and I saw the teaser video for this game that came out about a year ago, in which the various members of the Minority team held up placards saying that they had been bullied. Do you think that bullying is more commonplace among gamers? Is this sort of an epidemic among our group?
Gamers when we are in school, or gamers after school as we grow older?
When I was a little kid, one of the reasons I was bullied was because I liked video games.
Yeah.
And maybe that was sort of a self-perpetuating cycle where I would get bullied at school, so I'd escape into a video game where I could be safe and powerful, and then that gave them something to bully me about.
Yes. Well, yeah, definitely when we like video games as kids, we like them because we experience these magical adventures, and sort of like they take us to this magical place. And when we have problems in real life, it's normal to go back to that place that's safe, and it's you know, it's nothing like the problems that we have in real life. Yeah, I think there is a connection there. I think a lot of like non-gamers, they suffer bullying as well. They just deal with it in a different way. We'll go back to games, but other people, they'll deal it in a very different way. For me, what's important, I made my game for this game for myself too, because bullying for me didn't finish when I finished school. Bullying wasn't happening. I wasn't being bullied anymore after school, but the scars, like the pain, even if you move on in life, it sort of stays there with you, right? Even for people that's not experiencing bullying anymore, I wanted to make also a game for them, for like, and in making this game, I was sort of healing myself. It was like my sort of therapy as well, you know?
Right, right. Now, at one point, this game was going to be called Silent Enemy. Why did the name change to Spirits of Spring?
We had this game, like as I mentioned before, when I started making this game, I was considering different stories, different points of view. At some point, I started working with this setting of the Cree culture, and there was a lot of emphasis on surviving, on it's very harsh winters up there, and they have this expression that they call the silent enemy is starvation, is the danger of starvation up north, and that's sort of like the first name that we got for the game. But as then we started like digging deeper, like the theme of bullying, and this game started being more about bullying and surviving bullying. It was still about surviving, but the name wasn't really reflecting the sort of like hope and sort of like the positive message that I wanted to give at the end. So we changed the name to something that was more whimsical, more magical.
I think you made the right choice. I think it's a much better name.
Thank you.
When the game was first announced under the name Silent Enemy, it was also announced as being released for Ouya. Now it's come out for iOS, and I see that Android and PC versions are under consideration.
Yes.
Which platforms do you think will come next? PC, Android, Ouya?
So we still have to consider what's coming next for it. We launched last Thursday, so it's still very early. We want to see how people react, who wants to see this game in their platform, and then we'll make a decision.
Okay. This game comes from the same studio that made Papo Yo, which was a metaphor for dealing with an alcoholic, abusive father. Do you think this is becoming sort of your studio's niche of using video games as metaphors to deal with difficult subjects? Is this going to be what your future games will be like as well?
We really like this sort of stuff. That's obvious. At the same time, we exploring other types of experiences that I'm not ready to disclose right now. But I think the core, whatever the next game is, the core is that we believe that games have to be more human. It's all about what is the human experience and the human condition. Like if you look at great books and great movies, they all touch us because they're talking about what's to be us and what's our problems. So like, regardless of whatever it's the next game, we always keep thinking, what's the human story in this? What's the emotion that's gonna stay with the players after they finish the game?
At the opposite end of the spectrum from Spirits of Spring is a Rockstar game that came out 8 years ago called Bully. Have you played Bully?
Yes, I played a long time ago. I played, yeah.
That's a very different kind of game and probably doesn't try to have the same sort of social message as your game. Do you think that video games have a responsibility to be the sort of meaningful, touching experiences you describe, or is there room in video gaming for games like Bully?
Well, that's a very big question, and a very important one. And there's been a lot of debate lately about that, and I feel that sometimes we feel threatened if by people that say that games have to be can be something else than what we had for the last 30 years. I think there's place for both. I think like we obviously very good at creating like fun video games that are good to disconnect from real life, and they're basically awesome to play. At the same time, I think we have also a responsibility to explore what the medium can do. You know, this medium of video games, of like virtual simulations, is absolutely something groundbreaking that there's nothing like this before, and we have a responsibility to see what we can do with it. And it's a perfect platform to talk about what's to be us, you know, what's to be human, what the sort of problems that we live in our life. And before, in movies and books, they sort of like, they will tell you what that was. But now with video games, you can actually experience it and empathize with like different points of views, because you're there and interactively you're understanding what's the situation. I think that's wonderful. I think it's an uncharted territory that will be a shame to just dismiss it because it's not light and it's not just for fun. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, that's an excellent answer. You have obviously given this a lot of thought, and I'm not surprised given the kinds of games that your studio creates, and I'm encouraged to see the medium maturing through the works of products such as Silent Spring, such as now you get me all mixed up.
Yes, Spirits of Spring.
Spirits of Spring. Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's actually more and more people that they hoping for those sort of products to come along. Look, I'm 31 years old. I think a lot of gamers, we grew up with games. We played games our whole life. Now we're reaching that age, 30, 35, 40, and look, life sometimes will hit you in the face, and sometimes, we go to movies, we read books, we listen to our friends' stories to deal with those punches. Why there is no video games that will help us deal with those punches? And people, now they're getting to that age and people want those sort of experiences.
Certainly you're hoping that people will have that experience with your game, but that may not necessarily be experiences that you get to hear about. People might not be writing to you and saying, hey, I'm no longer being bullied, or hey, I now know how to deal with bullying. The most obvious metric to define a game's success is how many units it sells.
Yeah.
So how will you be defining success for your game?
I think success for our game would be what happened with Papo. Like with Papo, after a few weeks that the game was released, and even like it still happens, like we started getting mail from fans that played the game and what they felt and how the game touched them and helped them, and like that's something that we come from. We've worked in many different studios here in Montreal and elsewhere, and big companies, and we never got that sort of personal reaction. For me, my way to see if Spirits of Spring will be successful is that if we get that sort of personal responses, and that'll be my way to know that we did a good job.
Excellent. Well, by whatever metric you define, I hope that this game is a success. Do you have any parting shots you want to leave before we wrap up?
No, I'm very happy the game is out there. I want people to play it till the end. It's not a typical game, so I want to see people's reactions and people's interpretations of what we were trying to say. And I hope they'll play it, they'll like it, and I hope to hear from them.
Great. Well, I hope so too. Thank you so much for your time, Ruben.
Thank you, Ken. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.